So all the slides here we talked about in this example is talking about the project budget, how we determine the budget. And in this case, we talked, the project budget is 368 and the cost baseline is 334. And we also determine the funding requirements. In this way, we've solved the first part of the task, which is to determine budget. And then we need to check the performance. And this is our next task. So let's add a new tab for the performance. What we know here, that we know that after 6 months of working, we have the following information. So let's add the same table that we have here. Sorry. Let's add the same table from the BOQ, and we have the reserves here. And we need to reassess everything together. What we can do here is that we can go and check the reserves again. If the reserves still applicable, we can move them all to here. So let's assume that the reserves are still here. And in this case, we don't need the documentation, or we can hide it for now. We don't use it. So what are the information that are available? Now, after 6 months, they told us that the progress of the backfilling after 6 months. So the progress of the backfilling was 90%, and the asphalt progress was 20%. And then we have the actual cost. The actual cost for the backfilling was 12,000, and for the asphalt was 5,000. So let's see the other information that we have. Now, total actual, we said here, from in the first one, we said that our cost baseline is 334. And our project budget is 368. Now, the total of actual cost was the sum of those numbers. And let's assume that there is a cost that already expended here that was not giving in the inputs. This cost can be training for the asphalt already done, so it is 1,000. Sorry, this is the progress. And let's say 1,000, and it is already done, which means 100%. The survey crew, we spent 5 months, so the actual cost was, sorry, 12 months, 6 months by 5,000 per month. The management crew was 6 multiplied by 5,000. Mobilization was done, so I spent 1,000. Let's call this 50%, 50%. Sorry. And we have the mobilization is also 50%. Offices preparation, furniture is 50%, and then it is 6 multiplied by 2000. Other operation also, we can assume it is 50%, and then it is 6 multiplied by 1000. So this is the actual cost in the project, and the actual cost can be divided between indirect and direct. What we have now here, no work yet in the science and painting, and we need our task is to know our performance in this project. The first thing we need to calculate here is earned value. We said that the technique that will help us to know what is the status in the project is the earned value technique. So let's take a look at it. I need to calculate the earned value. We said the earned value is the amount of progress multiplied by the budget. Since the budget is not the total cost in this case, it should be the total cost plus the contingency reserve. So what I should have here, total budget, sorry, I will put it cost baseline. So in this case, it is this plus this. And the cost baseline will be the sum of all. Sorry, it is not. Because this is pavement, it should not be here. But yeah, this one only the amount here. No, this one not here. We have this plus this. Okay. So this is our cost baseline. We said that we make our comparison in the earned value comparing to the cost baseline. And the cost baseline is the budget that we have in our case. So we have the project budget here, but this is not the budget that we compare to. We compare to the cost baseline. So the earned value here equals to the progress multiplied by the cost baseline value. In this case, the total cost plus the reserve. So if I took the earned value here and I took the earned value here, this one would be the sum of those two. I will take it like this. And then I have here is zeros, and I have also earned values here. So the sum of all will equal to 177. This is our earned value. Let's check the inputs. We spent 20%. We spent 5,000 and the progress was 20%. Okay. $73,000. We finished here. It looks like the numbers are showing a very high earned value comparing to the actual cost because we put at 90%. Let's reduce this to 40%. no, very high, maybe 20%. Okay, 20% look fair, and this one, let's keep it at 10% or maybe 5%. Okay, looks good. So I need to go back to the inputs, and I will modify this to 20, and this is to 5%. Okay, now this is the numbers that we have. This is the actual cost, and this is the earned value. So we will start to produce the 4 formulas for the end value. We said the 4 formulas. The first one is CBI, SBI, and CV and SV. This is a fraction. We said it is a fraction between EV divided by, it is EV divided by AC. And this is EV divided by, EV divided by PV. The CV is EV minus AC, and this is EV minus PV. And then, since we are not very interested in the SPI now, we can just calculate the CBI. So the CBI for the end value here is, we will do this for each one of the activities. So let's call this CBI. Let's call this CV. So CBI here is earned value divided by actual cost. Let's round that number up to this level and copy it to all. So here we have some cases that the CBI is more than 1, and some cases we have the CBI is less than 1. Then the CV is earned value minus actual cost, and then again it is sometimes higher than 1, sometimes lower than 1. On the overall it is the same, so we can have this CV or CBI, this one should be 14,000, and this one is 1.1. So on the overall project, the status is 1.1. So the CBI for the project equals 1.1. This is the information that we have. What does that mean? That means the project status is under budget. Because like we said here, when we come to this nice graph, we know that if the CBI is more than 1, that means the project is under budget, up or down. We are not looking into the schedule now, but this is the status of the project. But that doesn't mean it is a good thing, because we are taking a look at only at the full and on the total. If we took status here, let's put it after the CV because it is applicable for both. Here we are under budget, but here we are over budget. And here we are on budget. And in these 2 we are under, and in these 3 we are on budget, but in the total we are under budget. So this is the thing that we need to look at, that even though we are under budget in the overall project, but we are not under budget in the asphalt. That means I need to go and look into the asphalt and see what is the problem. that we have. So in this case, we calculated our CPI and we know that what is the status of the project exactly.